Hi guys, this is Dr. Sam Ferraduny from Avion Health, and I'm here with the Big Ern.
What's
You
up,
guys all
guys?
know the Big Ern. We're here at our 1-year anniversary almost, and just here to kind of do the year-end wrap-up with the Green Hornet and tell you our experiences about everything to do with Cirrus.
Yeah, so this is no kidding a honest assessment. We're not sponsored by anybody. This is our experience owning a brand new SR22 turbo and kind of how we got to this place. We are going to talk numbers too. I know a lot of you guys are kind of wondering about the numbers on operating costs of the airplane. We'll talk about that. And again, this is a no kidding review, 1 year, just about at the time of filming. We're late November, but yeah, hope you guys like it.
We're here at our favorite airport, our local airport, Scottsdale, and we're inside the Sierra Charlie hangars. They're generous enough to hangar us for the last several months, and we've been really grateful. They've been super nice, and just getting to know them and their training programs that they offer as well. And they've been phenomenal. So we're here to you from Sierra Charlie.
Yeah, Sierra Charlie, shout out to those guys. If you guys are looking for flight training, look those guys up. It's not just teaching you how to fly, it's the customer service behind it. And we've been totally happy with the way they've treated us. So shout out to them.
Get it that I'm never going back. Going up, going up, going up, going up, going up, going up. Get it that I'm never going up, going up, going up, going up, going up.
All right, guys, we're gonna go over our history a little bit. So just tell you a little bit about us, and I know you know the Big Ern already. And Ernie, tell us a little bit about, we know you're a commercial pilot. What do commercial pilots do on their time off?
We fly.
Right? But tell the viewers a little bit about kind of how we ended up here and how we ended up with this Cirrus and all of that, and what your background is really.
Right, yeah. So that's a really good story on actually how we ended up with this thing. It has to do a lot with this guy, but I am actually very grateful, and I'll tell you guys why here in a little bit. But my name's Ernie. I'm a pilot for Southwest Airlines. I came up through the civilian ranks as well as the military ranks. So I went and I got all my ratings. I did the CFI thing for a year, went into the military, and then went to pilot training, and then got to fly some pretty cool airplanes. I ended up flying for the Air National Guard in Phoenix as my last assignment. That was about 14 years long, flying the tanker. And kind of how I got into this space, I've always loved GA, I've always flown GA. And my daughter, who now is up at University of North Dakota, up at Grand Forks, we got her private pilot license. I still kept my CFI current. We got her private pilot license, but how I did that was I bought an airplane and I did most of her training. So when Sam and I met and he expressed interest in buying an airplane or getting his training done, I suggested buying an airplane, thinking it was more like a 152 or 172, but I forgot I was talking to a big baller. So
I don't know about that, but master upseller.
Yes, master upseller. Yeah. So anyways, we got that conversation. So with my background being what it is, that's kind of how I got to, hey, maybe you should look at buying an airplane. So I'll let Sam talk about that other half of the equation on how we got here.
Yeah, so I'm a family physician. We are here in North Scottsdale. We focus on a lot of chronic diseases, and I'm also an AME. So I'd been an AME for quite a few years, and I'm now a senior AME. And dealing with a lot of pilots in the profession, kind of always was very interesting in terms of, how do these guys kind of get into their field? What's their passion? I started off college as an aerospace engineering major, so I've always had a passion for flight, but really didn't know how to break in to any kind of general aviation. And in talking with Ernie over the years as a patient and a friend, he really was a mentor in terms of saying, hey, you know what? These are what the steps are, and this is what you need to do first and second and third. And a little bit of hand-holding is kind of what I needed, and it's what Ernie provided. So I think it was a good experience. And then we started looking for, what kind of an airplane would be a good airplane to train in. Obviously, a lot of people train in easier airplanes, maybe I could say, that are easier to train in. But we wanted to fulfill some very specific missions, particularly going back to California to visit family and a few other things. And Ernie had already been, I think, in the Cirrus in rentals in a variety of capacities, flying Cirrus, and was nice enough to take me for a flight. And we thought, this is a great plane. Why don't we try to see what we can do within the Cirrus world?
That's true. So really good, funny story, I think, looking back on it now. So, you know, I tried to talk about the different airplanes that we would want to look at. My headspace, to be honest, was like, you know, maybe a Piper or something like that. And then Sam wanted to, you know, Cirrus does a great job with the parachute and the safety features in there and some of the advanced technology that it has. So talking about that and actually having Sam fly the airplane when I was renting, we got to see that, and he was really impressed with that. So we decided, okay, maybe we'll go down the Cirrus route. Cirrus, you can learn to fly any airplane. Again, I was an Air Force pilot, so I learned to fly really in the T-37, which is a twin-engine jet. You can fly anything. Just depends on the training program. So when he was pretty adamant about, you know, let's get a Cirrus, the safety features and all that good stuff, I said, okay, great. We went and we looked at a Cirrus. It was, I believe, a Generation 2.
Yeah, it was a 2.
It was a Gen 2. It was getting some maintenance done on there. So the MFDs were out. There was wires hanging out.
It was a wreck. No,
it
wasn't a wreck.
It was pretty beat up. We'll admit that. It needed paint, it needed interior, and it needed to get the MFDs put back in. But they were getting maintenance done. So we looked at that, and you know, Sam right away, no go. This is no good. Let's just take a look at a new one. And then we decided to just take a demo flight with Cirrus out here, and got a great one. Ken Goebel from Cirrus came down, brought us a new green, basically a mirror copy of what we see here with the Green Hornet.
So this is the Highlands Green.
It is the Highlands Green.
When they rolled up, and Ken said, I brought one of the demos from Santa Monica, and I said immediately, what color is it? Being, you know, at the time, non-pilot, or I don't know, maybe I'd started training at that time?
I don't think you started.
I hadn't maybe started. So I said, what color is it? You know, that's what you ask when you're not the pilot, right? When you haven't been trained. So he said green, and I looked at Ernie and I thought, green? This is gonna look like a 1960s minivan. So then when we stepped out on the ramp, I think we were both, I don't know, what did you think when you first saw the Highlands Green?
When I saw it, it reminded me of a British racing car. It just looked elegant. I was the same way. I was like, green? Oh, okay. I saw the little neon green. I saw a couple of other older Cirruses with green.
Ones, yeah.
And I wasn't really sold on it, but when we walked out, I was blown away.
Yeah, I think I was too. I was very surprised. I thought it was going to be just kind of off color, but the Platinum Edition with the Highlands Green and the silver really kind of stands out, and we just thought it was very subdued, very low key, and really just very elegant. So we like that. There are a lot of other cool colors we've seen, you know, over the years now, or over the year. A lot of carbon colors that are cool. The highlighter color is neat.
Yeah.
I forget what they call that, but Volt, yeah. So a lot of different cool colors, but we're happy with the Highlands Green, I think.
No, I'm very happy with it, especially with the tan interior. Again, going with the British racing car. You know, some of you guys know I'm a big Formula One fan. I love Aston Martin, and that's kind of the quintessential British racing car. And I don't know, I like the look.
Yeah,
I like the look.
We're happy with it.
Anyways, Ken came down, gave us a tour, took us up. We saw some of the differences, you know, with me flying a Gen 3 and a Gen 5, the differences that a Generation 6. It was just a lot more, I don't know, it was just more polished.
Yeah, a lot of little details that were cleaned up, I think. And then I want to say some of the kind of even the avionics updates were kind of what sold you on it more than anything else.
So instead of, it was kind of the difference of what I would say a PC. Sorry, man. Sam's a PC guy. It's kind of more the difference of a PC versus a Mac.
Yeah.
It was just a little more refined, a little more soft. I don't know. It seemed a lot nicer. When you change your frequencies and having the center frequency or the approach or the tower on there, that was kind of a nice touch too.
A lot of little avionics updates, that little touches and fit and finish kind of stuff that we thought would be better on the G6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So overall, we saw that. We talked about it a little bit more. We ran some numbers. I was very, very hesitant on getting a, a brand new Cirrus, approaching $1 million. That was a little steep on the price tag, but the more we looked at it and the more Sam really talked about the benefits of having a warranty. At the time, Cirrus was giving us a great deal on a demo airplane as far as having a warranty on there, having CMX maintenance, having a lot of the things that they were going to provide. So that kind of pushed me over the edge. I guess reluctantly, I kind of went along, and it was just a reluctant stage up to ultimately us signing to buy the Green Hornet.
Yeah, and for me, really, it was a lot of talking with a variety of patients that I see as an AME, and finding out that there is quite a bit of maintenance, not just with Cirrus, with any aircraft that you might purchase. And one of the things in my life and in my world, just being super busy, I didn't want to have to worry about downtime. I didn't want to have to worry about maintenance issues. I didn't want to have unexpected costs of maintenance. It's one thing that, not just maintenance, but repair, I guess we're talking about,
Sure.
but more in terms of just knowing what the upfront costs are, planning for those, and being able to kind of execute on that, and then being able to just enjoy the aircraft as opposed to having surprises. I didn't want any surprises, really. I think that was the biggest thing for me. And so from my perspective, those the G6 really fulfilled that for us in terms of not having too many surprises. So we're going to talk about some of the costs and overall things that have gone on with the aircraft, and I think it's all been very reasonable and a good experience, at least from my perspective. Started on the delivery process, I guess, to talk about the delivery process a little bit. Cirrus has a great program where you get to fly out and see the airplane for the first time. Ernie, what was your perspective on that, and what were you expecting, I guess I should ask? What did you expect before we actually made plans to get there and made reservations and that kind of stuff?
I have to be honest, I looked on a lot of YouTube channels and saw like kind of a little bit of what the delivery process was like. So I had a little bit of a heads up of what to expect. What I did not expect was getting picked up in Nashville in another G6 and having them fly us over to Knoxville, and then basically doing the tour of the delivery center, doing a tour of their, they have the Vision Jet type rating over there, and just doing basically the entire process and seeing what they do for their customers when they pick up an airplane. So I was pretty blown away.
I learned throughout the process of the build and the assembly are at different locations, and then delivery was in Knoxville. I thought it was nice that they did pick us up. We requested it, in all honesty.
We did, yeah.
So we got to be honest. We're not sponsored by anybody, and I'm not beholden to anybody. So I'm going to call you out. We had to request that.
We did have to request that,
but they were nice enough to do it, and it was a little bit of kind of inclement weather. Also, it was kind of neat to see some of the performance of the plane when we got to Knoxville there. They had little touches. I like the fact that they gave us our model.
That's true, yeah.
It's a replica of our plane with a plaque and the tail number and our names and everything. I also thought that it was a little bit unique in the sense that since we're sharing the plane, that everything was kind of duplicated, like that you got a model, I got a model.
Right,
that's not probably pretty typical.
Right.
A lot of times, if they do things like that, different manufacturers might say, hey, look, you bought a plane, you bought one plane, here's your one model.
Yeah.
So not a big deal, but niceties and
little
real
touches.
Considerations.
Yeah,
so they took care of us. I thought it was very nice.
It's those little touches that make the difference in an ownership experience, and I think Cirrus has it wired tight. They know these little things is what gives us that experience that Cirrus is known for and their brand that they're building.
Yeah.
So I have to give them high marks on that.
Yeah, there was definitely first class on that kind of stuff. All right, guys. I guess we're going to talk about maintenance. So maintenance costs and what the expenditures would have been. So we're talking about dollars and cents and what you can expect over the course of your first year. So break it down.
It is going to be a little bit different because this airplane was brand new. We had a maintenance package for the first year on there. It covered our 50 hours, our oil changes, and it covered our annual. So
what was that called?
It was called the CMX program.
CMX, that's what it was.
So we had a CMX program. It's a Cirrus program where they pay for all these scheduled maintenance. And we have a warranty on the airplane. So that's going to cover a lot of items that went out, and we did.
How long does our warranty go for?
The warranty is a 3-year warranty.
3 years.
So 3 years. You could have bought the extension to 5 years, but honestly, we didn't think we were going to own the airplane 5 years, so we're probably going to sell it within 3 years or so. But in that case, our maintenance cost was actually very low. The numbers came in at $3,027.87. Now, I just told you we had a full maintenance program on the airplane and we have full warranty. There are some things, just like when you buy a car, that aren't covered by warranty,
Sure.
not covered by
wear and tear type things.
Wear and tear. So we had some brakes done on the airplane. We also had a couple of inspections and nozzles cleaned that wasn't covered by the CMX program or the warranties.
So I'll interject for a second for the audience, I think, because some of that you have to account on the idea that I'm a student pilot, so we've been doing a lot of training. And so there's wear and tear that happens as a result of that. Correct. So some of that may not occur for you if you're an experienced pilot and you're getting a Cirrus brand new and flying your family or going to places. The other aspect of that is just a lot of flight hours based on me going weekly and so on and so forth.
Sure.
What else? I guess those are some incidentals that kind of come in. And also I think the other aspect was that we really go through the plane with a fine-tooth comb, and we're very particular and meticulous about how we want to maintain it, and that's kind of the bar we set for ourselves. And so I think some of those cleaning the nozzles and different kinds of things like that is just we go through it with, when it goes in for an inspection or goes in for maintenance of any kind, we say go through it with a fine-tooth comb.
Correct.
And anything that needs being done, we do.
Right.
As opposed to, was it a necessity? Was it necessary to get those things done? You know, no, we've done all the scheduled maintenance. Everything else should be covered by CMX.
Yeah, that is true. It's basically, you know, for us, like Sam said, if it's a question, we're going to get it fixed. There's no question on this.
Or replaced.
Or replaced, right? Yeah. So, you know, we have our families in here. We just want to make sure we're maintaining the airplane to its highest standard. And, you know, we've a shout out to Keystone Aviation here in Scottsdale. They have done a really good job. The big thing with us is communication. You just got to communicate maintenance-wise. This is what's going on. Show us, you know, show us if we show up. I'll just sidebar that with, you should always be able to walk into a maintenance station or facility, take a look around, talk to the mechanics, talk to the head mechanic, and get these people are working on your airplane, an airplane which you have your loved ones in. So if someone says, oh no, you're not allowed to talk to the mechanics, that's a red flag right off the bat.
Yeah.
Make sure that you go and see how they take care of your airplane. Is the cowling sitting on the ground or is it on a workbench that's got some, you know, protection on there, and they label everything. So
the labeling, I think, is a huge one, and organization within the shop for us, and also, you know, to your point, do you have access to your mechanic? And or maybe you have access, but you walk up to your mechanic, but they're super grumpy or they're grouchy.
I will say,
the
most mechanics, the good mechanics, are grouchy.
Well, but we want to be able to find out our questions, ask our questions, find out our answers, and just and rely on the idea that the plane is safe when we're flying it, right?
Correct. Yeah, that is correct. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, good. So our experience has been good with that. So partly, I guess the point is that $3,000 could have been maybe, I don't know, half, shaved off some.
Could have even,
if you're not a student and if you're not.
Correct.
If you're just going on scheduled maintenance.
Yeah, and I'm just doing the maintenance cost on that, right? Like, I'm not talking about detailing the airplane. We just had the airplane detailed, and you know, that was a $400 cost for us. You could do it yourself if you want to do that and save the cost. And obviously, we've had the airplane cleaned out throughout the year just to keep it clean. So that's another cost. Maybe not one that we would put in the maintenance program, but that is one.
We added nano ceramic. You know, polish onto the plane on delivery. So how much did that cost us?
I think it was about $3,200.
So that's $3,000 right there.
Right. There's a lot of little things that you can do to your airplane. And again, it's totally up to you. When you buy an airplane like this, I would recommend not skimping on anything. Just get it done.
Then you'll enjoy it.
Right. The ceramic coating helps with you know, keeping the airplane clean. There's a lot of things that you can do just to help yourself and you know, show pride of ownership in your airplane. So I guess overall maintenance wise with our CMX program, we had our 50 hours taken care of and we had our annual taken care of. And again, that $3,000 was just a lot of things that was questionable, or brakes, or, you know, tire or something like that. That's
things that we just wanted done that were wearing, but we wanted it done perfectly.
Yep. The other part of that deal was $12,000 for our hangar costs. Well, we're in Scottsdale. Our hangar cost is, you know, substantial. If you go to some of the smaller airports around here, that $12,000 would cover it. But for us, I believe we spent just a little over $2,000 on hangar costs for the year. So hangar cost
After the offset, after the credit.
After the offset.
Yeah.
Hangar cost, our fuel cost, and our maintenance costs per year, what is that, 9,000 plus roughly 2,000, that's 11 and change. And then what was that last number? I forget the last number.
It's okay. It's
So
a
anyways,
lot.
it was less than $15,000 for the entire year for us to own the airplane. And that's with flying a pretty aggressive schedule on the airplane and making sure our airplane was taken care of to the
Highest degree.
Highest degree.
Yeah.
So again, we couldn't have done that. We do have a friend that has bought a 2015 G5, and I believe his maintenance cost on the first year was right around $70,000. So
Wow.
he had, like us, we actually had both of our magnetos go out. They were covered under warranty and taken care of, but a friend of ours had a magneto go out. He had a Fiki pump go out. He had an avionics issue that had to get fixed. So
Little things, they add up, and it's what
we
we were talking about earlier in terms of unexpected costs, right? We don't necessarily, I mean, obviously everyone minds if there's costs associated, but we want to minimize the costs as much as reasonable. But at the same time, we don't want unexpected costs. And that was our fear and my fear, really. And back to the previous segment talking about, you know, why did we go new versus not new, is that is just these unexpected costs. We wanted to kind of alleviate ourselves of that.
Yep. So that's kind of the numbers. Obviously, this doesn't count the capital cost for the airplane and, you know, what you could have made on the money on top of that. So that is a cost that you should factor in your calculations.
There are a lot of different ways to slice these things.
A lot of different ways. We love aviation, so, you know, the cost for us is time savings. I was able to go to a convention in Vegas, do the full convention, and then fly back, and I had time for dinner with my family. So there's
we have business uses for it, for the plane as well. I do speaking as well, and so we've flown a couple of missions going to a variety of speaking programs where otherwise it wouldn't have been cost effective to really go. So there are a lot of ways to dice that, but some people think of it as, well, maybe we got a discount on the overall acquisition cost of the plane, but then, you know, these are the maintenance outlays. The Cirrus, I think, characterizes it as credits towards hangar, towards fuel, etc. Depends on how you consider those savings all in all. But I think that's it for
I think that's it for
maintenance, right?
Yeah.
It was shortest segment out of the whole video, I think. Yeah. All right. So overall thoughts segment. So Ernie, what are your overall thoughts?
Overall, I love
Summarize
it.
kind of everything that's rumbling around in your head.
Everything that goes in there.
What's going on?
Yeah. So overall thoughts. I love the airplane. You know, it is expensive. So for me, making sure I had a business use for the airplane. But the memories that this airplane has given me and my family has been great, and us, right?
Yeah,
We've done a lot of stuff together. So
yeah, we have.
I think it's just a beautiful airplane. It flies wonderful. It's great flying out here in the Southwest with it. I have not been in any situation where I felt uncomfortable in the airplane, and that goes with flying at 18,000 feet and icing and all this other stuff. I've been totally happy with it. I just overall love the airplane. Overall, highly recommend it.
Okay. Yeah, I think you know, summary of kind of all the things that we've liked about the plane. It's fast, great ramp presence, a lot of technology, a lot of safety features. I've similarly never felt really unsafe in the plane. Just great ownership experience, great delivery. Really enjoyed our flight back. If you ever get a chance to go to Majors Field, I love landing there for fuel. It's a cool place in the middle of nowhere, outside of Dallas. But all in all, yeah, it's been a good experience training as well. I think one thing that's a positive kind of that I can say about that training aspect that we talked about earlier is, you know, now having kind of almost towards the tail end of that training, you know, really the confidence that you get from being in a complex, high performance kind of plane is just really an added bonus. So it's a little bit of a challenge getting through that, but if you're up for the challenge or you have the time to dedicate towards learning in a plane like this, I think it's wonderful, and at the end you'll come out very accomplished and just really confident.
Yeah.
So would you do it again, or would you recommend it? I don't know. What do you think? Cirrus, your buddy says to you, hey, I want to get a Cirrus, I'm thinking about a Cirrus, what would you do?
You know, I would recommend it, and this is something actually Sam and I are working towards, coming up with a company to where you get that entire ownership experience, less a lot of the hassles dealing with the maintenance and all that. Look for that towards the beginning of next year, but I absolutely would. If you're in the market for a Cirrus, I believe that company really knows how to take care of their owners. Their customer service has been great.
Sure.
If we had any issues or any problems, I pick up the phone and I call our warranty department, or I call, if we're AOG somewhere, which hasn't happened very often, they're on it. They take care of it. You don't feel like you're put off because they have jets to worry about. They value you and they make you a priority. So
yeah,
I do have to give high marks to Cirrus, from delivery to owner support. They've been great, and I would absolutely do it again for sure.
Yeah, and I think similarly, I would recommend it. I think you have to always consider, again, put it into perspective. What we're talking about is within this class of aircraft.
Correct.
I would highly recommend it. I would suggest that people look into it, fly one, rent one, be a passenger in one, and see what your thoughts are on it. But I also am a thumbs up. I would highly recommend it. I think outside of this class, we've talked a little bit over the video about wish lists. Would we want it to be a little bit bigger? Would we want it to carry a couple more people? Would we want it to be pressurized? But then you're talking about a different category of aircraft. So I think within this category, I think it's probably the finest product on the market. I don't, Ernie would be able to speak to that more.
Yeah, I think so. I think the thing that would compete probably the most, and it does have an extra seat, would be a Bonanza. But now you've got swinging gear, and the back is a little bit bigger. And again, not taking anything away from Bonanzas. I love Bonanzas. I don't know. I love the Cirrus.
Yeah,
really
it's a nice plane. It has a lot of nice creature features and high performer.
I think, again, dealing with this class, if you were to move up in a class, definitely you would want pressurization, and you would
a lav.
A lav would be awesome.
Can we get a big jet?
Yeah,
no.
Right.
No, there's always something else above, right?
Yeah.
So
that's the thing about being a pilot. You always want, when you get into an airplane, you're always looking at the next airplane.
Sure,
so
sure. Makes sense. Yeah. If you like this video, click the like button and subscribe if you're not a subscriber. I think it's, hopefully you've enjoyed it. And Ernie, any final thoughts? You're the big Ern, so the big Ern with the Green Hornet. So,
no, I really hope you guys found value out of this. And you guys were asking a lot about kind of ownership cost and what it costs us to fly the Cirrus around. And I just hope you guys found value out of it. If you did, again, comment down below, ask some questions. We'll try to respond to you.
Yeah, we're always available.
Things are getting really busy with everything going on, but we read every single comment left down there. But hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you again on the next video.